As Darius Cole stood inside the elite luxury rentals showroom, the salesman, Brad, gave him a look that said everything without words. "You don't belong here." "I'd like to rent the Ferrari 488 for a week," Darius said. Brad's smile was condescending. "Sir, that car's a bit out of your league. It's $2,500 a day, plus insurance." When Darius calmly replied, "Price isn't a problem," Brad's tone shifted, sharper now. "Look, let's be honest. Most black clients' credit limits don't really cover this kind of luxury rental. I'd rather not embarrass you." That's when Darius quietly reached into his briefcase and pulled out a document. A $50 million investment contract with Ferrari's parent company. The color drained from Brad's face. Within 2 minutes, his career was effectively over. Before the story begins, drop a comment. Which city are you watching from? And if you believe in justice and equality, share this story and subscribe, because together, our voices are stronger. The Miami sun reflected off the gleaming supercars arranged like jewels in elite luxury rentals showroom on Collins Avenue. Lamborghinis, McLarens, Ferraris, and Bentleys sat on spotless white floors under dramatic lighting, each one a testament to automotive excellence and wealth. Darius Cole pushed through the glass doors, the cool air conditioning a welcome relief from the February heat outside. At 38, Darius managed Tech Venture Capital, an $800 million fund specializing in technology startups. His portfolio included 47 companies ranging from AI platforms to electric vehicle technologies. One of his most significant investments was a $50 million stake in an Italian firm developing cutting-edge electric powertrains for Ferrari's hybrid lineup, making him a 12% shareholder in technology that would define the brand's future. He was in Miami for 3 days of meetings with Ferrari executives to discuss the next phase of their electric vehicle rollout. And he wanted to arrive at those meetings in style, specifically in a Ferrari 488 GTB, one of the last naturally aspirated V8 masterpieces before the brand's full transition to hybrid and electric powertrains. Darius had dressed casually for the Florida weather: designer jeans, a plain black t-shirt, Nike sneakers, and sunglasses pushed up on his head. His only obvious marker of wealth was the Patek Philippe watch on his wrist, but even that was understated, known only to those who understood haute horlogerie. As he approached the sales desk, he noticed the man behind it assessing him with a look Darius recognized immediately. Brad Morrison, according to his name tag, was white, perhaps in his early 40s, with the slick-back hair and expensive suit of someone who'd built an identity around proximity to wealth rather than possessing it himself. Brad's expression cycled through surprise, suspicion, and barely concealed dismissal as Darius approached. His body language closed off, arms crossing, posture straightening into something defensive. "Can I help you?" Brad asked, his tone carrying that particular quality of forced politeness that preceded rejection. "Yes, I'd like to rent a Ferrari 488 GTB for a week," Darius said pleasantly. "Preferably in Rosso Corsa if you have it available." Brad's eyebrows rose slightly at the specific color reference. Rosso Corsa, Ferrari's iconic racing red. "The 488 is one of our premium vehicles, sir. Are you familiar with our rental rates?" "I assume they're competitive with other luxury rental agencies in Miami," Darius replied calmly. "The 488 rents for $2,500 per day," Brad said, his tone suggesting the number should be intimidating. "That's $17,500 for a week, plus insurance, which adds another $3,000. We're looking at over $20,000 total." "That's fine," Darius said simply. "Can I see the vehicle?" Brad's expression hardened slightly. "Sir, before we proceed, I need to be upfront with you about our requirements. We need a major credit card with a credit limit of at least $50,000. We also run a credit check and require proof of insurance. These are very expensive vehicles, and we need to protect our assets." "I understand completely," Darius said. "I'm prepared to provide whatever documentation you need." Brad leaned back in his chair, studying Darius with undisguised skepticism. "Sir, I appreciate your interest, but I want to manage expectations here. The 488 is not like renting a regular car. This is a $600,000 vehicle with over 600 horsepower. Our typical clients are established business owners, celebrities, high-net-worth individuals, people with a certain profile. The word profile hung in the air with unmistakable weight. "I see," Darius said, his voice remaining even despite the insult becoming increasingly obvious. "And what profile would that be?" Brad shifted uncomfortably but pressed forward, apparently convinced he was saving everyone time by being realistic. "Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I've been in this business for 8 years. I can usually tell when someone's window shopping versus when they're serious buyers. The 488 attracts a lot of attention, and we get people coming in all the time wanting to take photos with it, sit in it, pretend they can afford it. But when it comes time to run the credit card," he trailed off meaningfully, his implication crystal clear. "You're saying you don't think I can afford to rent this car," Darius stated flatly. "I'm saying that the demographic that typically rents our premium vehicles has certain indicators. And respectfully, you're not presenting those indicators. I'm trying to save you the embarrassment of having your card declined." "The demographic," Darius repeated. "You mean white people?" Brad's face flushed. "I didn't say that. I'm talking about financial qualifications, not race. But since you brought it up, yes, statistically, our premium rentals go to clients who present a certain image. Designer clothes, luxury watches, professional demeanor. You walked in here looking like you're heading to a basketball game, not a business meeting." "I'm wearing a $40,000 watch," Darius said quietly. "But you didn't notice because you'd already decided who I was the moment I walked through that door." Brad glanced at the Patek Philippe, and for a moment his certainty wavered. But he'd committed to his position and doubled down. "Look, anyone can buy a replica watch online for $50. I'm trying to be helpful here. We have some very nice cars in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. A BMW 7 Series, a Mercedes S-Class. Those might be more appropriate for your budget." "More appropriate for my budget," Darius echoed. "Based on what information? You haven't asked about my income, my credit history, or even run my card. You've made an assumption based entirely on how I look." "I'm making a professional assessment based on years of experience," Brad said defensively. "And frankly, yes, when someone walks in here dressed like that, asking about our most expensive vehicle, I have to wonder if they're serious or if they're wasting my time." Darius pulled out his wallet, a simple black leather billfold, nothing flashy, and placed a credit card on the desk. American Express Centurion card. The invitation-only black card that required either being invited by Amex after spending $250,000 plus annually or having such significant wealth that Amex courted you as a client. Brad stared at the matte black card, his expression shifting to confusion. This could still be a fake." Darius finished. "Would you like to run it?" Brad picked up the card, examining it closely. The weight, the feel, the subtle details, it appeared authentic. But he'd gone too far to back down now. "Sir, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We've had issues in the past with fraud, with people renting our vehicles and then disappearing with stolen identities. Given that, and given certain patterns we've observed, I'm not comfortable proceeding with this rental without additional verification." "What kind of additional verification?" "I need to see multiple forms of ID, proof of residence, recent pay stubs or tax returns, and I want to call your bank directly to verify the card." "Would you require that from every customer?" Darius asked, though he already knew the answer. Brad's silence was answer enough. "Let me guess," Darius continued, his voice still calm, but carrying an edge now. "When a white customer in a suit walks in and asks about the 488, you don't demand pay stubs and bank verification. You smile, run the card, and hand over the keys. But I walk in, and suddenly we need to implement extraordinary security measures. I'm just following policy." "Show me the policy," Darius interrupted. "Show me in writing where it says certain customers require additional verification based on, what did you call it? Patterns you've observed." Brad's face was red now, anger mixing with his discomfort at being challenged. Sir, I don't appreciate your tone. This is my business, and I have the right to refuse service to anyone I feel uncomfortable with. You have the right to refuse service for legitimate business reasons, Darius corrected. You don't have the right to discriminate based on race, which is exactly what you're doing. I'm not discriminating. I'm protecting valuable assets. If you don't like my policies, you're free to take your business elsewhere. I'm sure there are plenty of rental agencies that would be happy to accommodate you. The way he said accommodate made it sound like a concession rather than basic service. Darius reached into his messenger bag, another item Brad had clearly judged as too casual for serious business, and pulled out a leather portfolio. He opened it carefully, extracting a single document. Brad, Darius said, his voice carrying a new quality, not anger, but authority. Before you refuse my business based on your professional assessment, I think you should know something about me. He placed the document on the desk, turning it so Brad could read it. It was an investment agreement, dense with legal language but clear in its essential details. Tech Venture Capital's $50 million investment in Techno-Electric SBA, including a breakdown of the technology being developed and its application to Ferrari's hybrid powertrains. Brad's eyes moved across the page, confusion evident as he tried to process what he was reading. What is this? That's my firm's investment in the company that develops Ferrari's electric vehicle technology. Techno-Electric, we're their largest outside investor. The hybrid system in the 488 you're refusing to rent me? I helped fund its development. The color was draining from Brad's face as comprehension dawned. I'm in Miami this week, Darius continued, his voice measured, meeting with Ferrari executives about the next phase of our investment. I wanted to rent one of their cars to drive to those meetings. I thought it would be appropriate to arrive in a vehicle that literally contains technology I've invested in. He pulled out his business card, placing it next to the investment document. Simple, elegant white cardstock. Darius Cole, Managing Partner, Tech Venture Capital. $800 million own. $800 million under management, Darius said quietly. 47 portfolio companies, including significant stakes in automotive technology, battery systems, and electric powertrains. The Ferrari you just implied I couldn't afford? I don't need to rent it. I could buy 10 of them without checking my account balance. Brad's mouth opened and closed wordlessly. His hands trembled slightly as he picked up the business card, reading it over and over as if it might change. But here's the thing, Brad, Darius continued. I don't want to buy a Ferrari for a 3-day trip. I wanted to rent one. I wanted to give your business $20,000. I wanted to be a customer. But you looked at my skin color and decided I was too risky, too suspicious, too inappropriate for your demographic. The office door opened and a man in an expensive suit emerged. Michael Torres, the owner of Elite Luxury Rentals, clearly drawn by the rising tension in his showroom. Is everything all right out here? Michael asked, his practiced smile faltering as he took in the scene. Brad's ashen face, the documents spread on the desk, Darius's calm but unmistakable authority. Mr. Torres, Darius said, recognizing the owner from the company website. I'm Darius Cole. I came in to rent a Ferrari 488 for the week. Your employee has spent the last 10 minutes explaining why my demographic isn't appropriate for your premium vehicles, why my credit card will probably be declined, and why I should consider something more suitable for my budget. Michael's eyes widened in horror. Mr. Cole, I what? He also suggested my $40,000 watch was probably a $50 replica and demanded pay stubs and tax returns before he'd even consider running my card. Verification he apparently doesn't require from your usual clientele. Michael's face went through a rapid series of expressions, confusion, realization, and then undiluted horror as he picked up the investment agreement from the desk. His hands were shaking as he read it. Oh my God, Michael whispered. Brad, what have you done? I thought. He didn't look like, Brad stammered, his career visibly crumbling before his eyes. He didn't look like he could afford our cars? Michael finished, his voice tight with barely controlled fury. He didn't look like our demographic? Brad, Do you have any idea who you're talking to? I know now, but how was I supposed to? By treating every customer with respect. Michael's voice rose sharply. By following our actual policies, which require running the card before making assumptions. By not being a racist asshole in my showroom. He turned to Darius, his face flushed with embarrassment and genuine distress. Mr. Cole, I cannot apologize enough. This is absolutely unacceptable. Brad's behavior does not represent our company or our values. Doesn't it? Darius asked quietly. Brad said he's been doing this for 8 years. He talked about patterns he's observed, about his professional assessment based on experience. This isn't one bad employee, Mr. Torres. This is your company culture. Michael looked sick. You're right. And I take full responsibility. Brad, you're fired. Effective immediately. Get your personal items and leave. Brad's face crumpled. Mr. Torres, please, I have a family, a mortgage. You should have thought about that before you discriminated against a customer. Michael snapped. You cost us a $20,000 rental. You insulted a major investor in the automotive industry. And you did it all on camera. He gestured to the security cameras mounted discreetly in the showroom corners. Everything you said is recorded. If Mr. Cole decides to sue us, which he has every right to do, your words will be Exhibit A. Darius shook his head. I'm not interested in suing. I'm interested in change. Both men looked at him with surprise. Mr. Torres, your company isn't unique. This happens in luxury retail across the country. Black customers are followed, questioned, assumed to be frauds or threats. Your employee is a symptom of a larger problem. He paused, letting that sink in. Here's what I want. Comprehensive bias training for all staff. Anonymous reporting system for discrimination complaints. Transparent data on customer service interactions broken down by race. And I want you to partner with organizations that work with minority entrepreneurs and business owners to ensure they know they're welcome here. Michael nodded frantically. Yes, absolutely. All of it. Whatever you want. And I still want to rent that Ferrari, Darius added. For the original quoted price. No discount, no special treatment. Just the service I should have received from the beginning. 30 minutes later, Darius drove out of Elite Luxury Rentals in a stunning Rosso Corsa Ferrari 488 GTB. Behind him, Brad cleared out his desk in shame, and Michael made phone calls to implement the changes Darius had demanded. 3 days later, when Darius returned the Ferrari, Michael handed him a folder. Inside was a comprehensive plan for transforming Elite Luxury Rentals' customer service culture, starting with Brad's firing becoming a case study in why assumptions based on appearance destroyed businesses and perpetuated injustice. 6 months later, Elite Luxury Rentals was featured in business publications as a model for inclusive service in the luxury market. Other high-end rental agencies followed suit, terrified of becoming the next viral discrimination story. And Darius continued his work, investing in innovation, demanding excellence, and refusing to accept that his presence in any space needed to be justified by anything other than his humanity and his achievements. Sometimes justice doesn't require lawsuits or viral videos. Sometimes it requires using the power you've earned to demand that systems change, that policies improve, and that the next person who looks like you doesn't have to prove they belong in spaces they've already earned the right to occupy. Brad's unemployment became a cautionary tale. Darius's calm authority became a blueprint. And one conversation in a Miami showroom became the catalyst that changed how an entire industry thought about who belonged behind the wheel of a supercar.